Recently, after a devastating hurricane, Kamala Harris took the time to stage a photo and continue raising funds for her presidential campaign. Joe Biden was making some phone calls between naps on the beach, and Orange Man Bad was literally on the ground in the devastated areas, having spoken to Elon Musk about Starlink. Let's have a quick listen.
Communication, they don't have anything right now. We're trying to, I just spoke to Elon, I'm getting him, we want to get Starlink hooked up because they have no communication whatsoever. And Elon will always come through. We know that. And so we're working on that, getting them hooked up. They asked me whether or not that would be possible. And we're going to try and get the Starlink in there as soon as possible because they have no communication. And throughout the region, our hearts are with you, and we are going to be with you as long as you need. It's called an hour of need. You're in our prayers, and we pray to God, and throughout the long weeks that lay ahead, you're going to have a lot of work, but the end result is it's going to be good. We just wish so many people weren't so badly hurt, and in many cases, sadly, no longer with us.
So just take a moment, folks. Donald Trump right now, in this clip, on the ground in areas devastated by the recent hurricane, bringing in gasoline, clean water, supplies, food, and on the phone to Elon Musk, organising Starlink communications to get people connected and back in communication. The first politician on the ground, not the active president, not the vice president, Orange Man Bad. Well, we have an update.
Let me begin by sending our love to every family that has been affected by the Hurricane Helene. I witnessed the damage firsthand yesterday in Georgia, and as you know, North Carolina was just devastated. We can't even get in. They don't have communication. They don't have anything. Towns were flooded. Asheville is, as you know, totally underwater, big place. Massive numbers of lives were lost yesterday, the day before yesterday, and still counting. They have a lot of missing people. The people living in western North Carolina, incredible patriots. They really are. I know that area well, and they're still suffering immensely, and we need to help them, and we are going to help them as citizens in Alabama, Tennessee, Virginia, and a couple of other places got a little hit. But, in particular, these places, Georgia was hit very, very hard. But I want to thank Elon Musk for responding to my request that Starlink be provided to North Carolina. You know, and the lines were all down. They had no communication. You couldn't get to North Carolina, the area that was hit. And they were all saying, does anybody know Elon Musk? I said, yeah, I do. I raised my hand. They asked a question. I said, yeah, I know. I said, what's the problem? They said, do you think you could get him to get Starlink, which is amazing stuff, right? Starlink. And I said, I don't know too much about Starlink, but if you want it, we can get it. I called Elon, and they had so many people over there, Tommy. They had so many people over there so quickly, and they have great communication now. But, I mean, it's a terrible. But thank you, Elon, and because of you, they're in really great shape now from the standpoint of emergency needs.
Isn't it nice to hear somebody thanking Elon Musk as opposed to attacking the guy? And again, I just got to take a moment. This guy's not currently the president, but he's acting like one. He's on the ground in Georgia, brings supplies, gives the people a message of hope, credits emergency service workers for their hard work and their bravery, on and on and on. The next day, after calling Elon Musk regarding Starlink everywhere. Talk about leadership. I saw this very amusing post on X. First, the post and then the repost. Now that Elon Musk has rescued the astronauts, you guys know about this mission, right? Boeing leaving astronauts stranded at the International Space Station. Elon to the rescue via SpaceX and provided Starlink to flood victims. Maybe he can unload all the cargo ships too. Now, did someone say cargo ships? And today's winner of the smallest brain in the United States, the Olympic gold medalist for FAFO, is this guy. The consequences of this absolute psychopath will be felt far and wide, not just in the United States, but globally, assuming these unreasonable demands are not met. Chaos guaranteed.
Are you worried that this
They
strike...
have the capital to settle this thing.
Are you worried that this strike is going to hurt the everyday American, the farmers that need to reach the export market? They're telling me that they're going to hurt through all
Now you
of
start
this.
to realize who the longshoremen are, right?
Nobody cares.
People never gave a about us until now, when they finally realized that the chain is being broke now. Cars won't come in, food won't come in, clothing won't come in. You know how many people depend on our jobs? Half the world. And it's time for them and time for Washington to put so much pressure on them to take care of us, because we took care of them, and we're here 135 years and brought them where they are today, and they don't want to share. And I'm done.
Do you worry that...
So in case you haven't heard or don't realise, this guy representing a union of people who work in shipping ports. You know, the goods that come into the United States. And yeah, all right. So this is going to go down as an all-time example of fucking around and finding out. This utterly brain-dead moron is probably going to one-up the utterly inept UAW President Sean Zero IQ Fain, who recently encouraged UAW, United Auto Workers Union members, to strike and demand unreasonable and financially catastrophic compensation increases. And you know what happened, which I predicted at the time was going to happen. You can check the receipts on X. As a result, almost immediately, plants were shut down, huge layoffs among automotive companies. Why? Well, they couldn't afford these unreasonable compensation increases, so they just had to fire employees. And I asked at the time, you know what's better than a massive, unsustainable pay increase? Demanding more than you can get paid? You know what's even better than that? Demanding an unsustainable increase in your compensation, and because your employer can't afford it, instead of getting a 10, 20, 30, 40% increase in compensation, you get a 100% decrease because you get fired, you moron. So what's going to happen here is this dickhead claiming to have the best interests of the union members at these shipping ports at heart is going to put them all out of jobs because their jobs will be automated away. This is how shit works. Let's say you happen to, I don't know, pick a random example, hypothetical totally. Let's say California decided to massively increase the minimum wage. You know what happens? Fast food restaurants like McDonald's, the very first step on the ladder of the global marketplace, you add more value, you climb up the ladder, you get paid more. The very first step on the ladder in which inept, pimple-faced teenagers start to learn some skills and become more valuable, it disappears because these companies are like, oh, what? We can't fucking pay that. Let's just automate it. Next minute, instead of employing a bunch of teenagers to serve people French fries, you got a robot doing their job. These idiots have no idea what's around the corner. The smiles ain't gonna last. Believe me. Oh, and what do we have here? Harold Daggett, president. Oh, is this the compensation from the very same guy we've just heard demanding more for the workers? 2021, the dude brought in over $700,000 US. Hey, not bad. The gross salary, by the way, alone almost $600K and a little bit of additional benefits on top. Tell you what, not bad. Now, I have no idea how long this is going to take to play out. But if workers at shipping ports in the United States are striking or below capacity, the shocks to supply chain and the price of goods is going to be catastrophic. And although I don't personally work in Tesla's supply chain and logistics, I do know that Tesla does not in fact make literally 100% of the parts and components in their products in-house. The effects of this strike will be felt far and wide, including by Tesla. I just wanted to highlight one of the key quotes here from this dipshit we've just heard from. Quote, "We are prepared to fight as long as necessary to stay out on strike for whatever period of time it takes to get the wages," and wait for it, "protections against automation our members deserve." You stupid motherfucker. You know what's going to happen? These dumb fucks are going to get put out of a job due to automation, which will be now fast-tracked because of the unsustainable demands. Check this out. Demanding massive wage increases. You know what's going to happen, right? Well, we can't afford that. Let's just automate these fucks out of a job. It's going to be an incredible example of fucking around and finding out. Seth Dillon of the Babylon Bee added this commentary. "I wonder what Elon's harshest critics would do if they had all his wealth and resources. I'm sure most of them would squander it selfishly. They wouldn't be looking for opportunities to serve others and safeguard freedom. And even if they did initially, they almost certainly wouldn't continue after years of vicious vilification." He ain't wrong. We've heard Musk in the past say that he cares more about doing good than the perception of doing good. I think everybody should have that philosophy. Most don't. Such a strange world we live in. I'm going to, in a moment, read this article from The Hill, but just check out the headline. "As Musk lifts humanity, the left brands him as public enemy number 2. By the way, no lies detected." It's insane. Just think about how crazy this is. You know who public enemy number 1 is, right? Orange Man Bad. A guy who also cares more about doing good than the perception of good. For example, securing the southern border to keep American citizens safe. That's the doing good part. The perception, the media, the wall's racist, Orange Man Bad, he hates people from Mexico. And again, example recently with the hurricanes, the guy's literally on the ground in the devastated areas, personally bringing supplies, organising for Starlink to be connected, constantly attacked. So let's read this article. On public enemy number 2, Elon Musk, a guy who, look, we have to be honest, right? He's got to be close to, if not the MVP of Earth, right? Who's doing more good at scale? It's wild to see a guy who's doing so much good be so demonized from the left. Anyway, let's read this article. Did you hear about the amazing space history just made? 2 women traveled further from Earth than any woman ever had. Cool story, bro. I don't really care whether or not they have vaginas, but it is cool that they are private citizens, and this was done by a private company. Elon Musk made that happen. Of course, the fact that he is behind that historic first is likely why you didn't hear about it. Indeed. Democrats, the far left, and most of the liberal media loved Elon Musk until they didn't. Once he bought Twitter, turned it into X, and made it clear that he was against much of the censorship they had been pushing/demanding, and for the free speech they opposed, many on the left in the media turned against him with a vengeance. It's true, man. I said at the time, bro. Those who seek to control the one true narrative have now lost their grip on their control of the one true narrative because of Elon bad. Therefore, the attacks will continue to ramp up. I called it at the time. We've seen it play out. This was inevitable, and Musk knew this was inevitable as well, but he did it anyway because it was the right thing to do. Almost overnight, Musk became public enemy number 2. He will obviously never reach the number 1 position, since the left has carved former President Orange Man Bad's name in granite for that title. But as Musk also dared to endorse Trump for president, he has a lock on number 2 forevermore. I think this is fair. The often unhinged hostility directed at Musk by some on the left is disturbing. Again, just a few years ago, the left seemingly wanted to erect statues to Musk as they sang his praises and those of his companies Tesla and SpaceX. Now, aside from hurling ugly pejoratives at him, many on the left also want to cancel SpaceX, Tesla, the hated X, and even arrest Musk. And by the way, this is not a joke. There have been calls from total leftards to actually arrest Musk. 2 years ago, I put out a book titled The 56 Liberty Lessons from those who are. See, this is like a guest article just to pump their book. I might check it out though. It could be interesting. Note to self. I'm literally, by the way, checking on Audible right now as I record this video if I can buy the book. Pro tip, folks. You ever hear a book that might be interesting or relevant? Just buy it. Well, damn, I think I found it. Is this guy Douglas McKinnon? Found it. Sweet. Oh, even better, it's free on my Audible subscription. Winning. I'm going to leave that in there, by the way, folks. Like I said, you see a book, you think, that could be interesting. Just fucking buy it. The sole purpose of the book was to protect our founding fathers from threats of cancellation from some on the left. While discussing the book at the time, I often equated Elon Musk with our founding fathers. Why? Because back in 1776, the vast majority of the wealthy American colonists sided with the tyrannical British crown. They did not want to rock the boat because they lacked testicles. They did not want to risk their wealth and privilege because they lacked testicles. They were happy to be useful idiots because they lacked testicles of the time for those robbing them of their own rights and freedoms. On the other side were our founding fathers, most especially those who literally put their lives on the line to sign the Declaration of Independence. Many were the equivalent of billionaires today. They could have kept silent, like most of the sausage-wallety wealthy, and gone along with the crown, but they did not because they had testicles. Each looked himself in the mirror and asked the 2 most important questions of their lives. If not me, who? If not now, when? And because they did, the United States of America was created. Like those billionaires of 1776, Musk could have kept going along to get along. As the wealthiest human on the planet, he needed for nothing and had every luxury at his disposal. Strong parallels with Orange Man Bad, by the way. Dude could just be playing golf and relaxing on a beach instead of getting shot at and attacked and vilified. But then, like our founding fathers, at some point Musk, as well as Trump and RFK Jr., see, there we go. I jumped the gun. Also asked himself those 2 questions as he witnessed the rise of cancel culture and the elimination of free speech. What is amazing about Musk, whom I have never met or spoken with, is that he has so many different interests and is blazing life-changing trails with all of them. As he fights to protect free speech, he is also desperately trying to figure out a way to move humans off the planet in a permanent way to save humanity. Well, to clarify, as a backup to ensure that should something happen on Earth, humanity would continue. To that very quest, after NASA recently announced it was tracking a potential Earth-killing asteroid, Musk posted on X, "One of these days, a large comet will hit Earth and destroy almost all life, as has happened many times in the past. Either become a spacefaring civilization or die." Now, if anyone's ever curious about the risks of asteroid impacts, if you don't know your history, if you're scientifically illiterate, you've got no idea about any of the mass extinction events in the past, the evidence of huge impacts, you might have heard about the dinosaurs, but other than that, you go, oh, that was just a one-off. Pause this video, use your favorite search engine, and search for a high-resolution image of the surface of the moon. You might notice something. The whole fucking thing is nothing but craters and craters in craters and craters in craters in craters. Why? Because shit hits the moon. You might ask, well, why aren't there lots of craters on Earth? The moon doesn't have a whole lot of active weather. In other words, the marks stay a lot longer on the moon. The whole thing is covered, okay? It's common over long enough time frames for massive impacts and minor impacts. It happens all the time. It is only a matter of time until something with enough mass to destroy all, if not all, then most life on Earth slams into our planet. It makes a lot of sense to have a backup off Earth. Part of that drive was on spectacular display recently as SpaceX launched a 4-person civilian crew on a trailblazing mission into Earth's Van Allen radiation belts. It can't be stressed enough how jaw-dropping and incredible that mission was. Can confirm my jaw did drop. Back in the day, I authored a book about the 12 men who walked on the moon. I worked space issues for the Pentagon, and I worked as a consultant to NASA and the Space Shuttle team. Because of that background, I followed the adventures of SpaceX since day one. This bro and I have something in common. Many folks watching this channel won't know, but the reason that I was aware of Tesla a long time ago was actually because of my interest in SpaceX. I heard about a guy who'd made some money on the internet and had blown up a rocket or two and went, this fucking guy's crazy. I love him. Massive long-term space nerd. I can thank my father for that interest. So I've been following SpaceX since their early Falcon days. This is how I eventually began paying major attention to Tesla. I was hearing about the guy who made some money on the internet, who'd been blowing up rockets and then succeeded with rockets, getting involved in electric vehicles and was paying attention through that lens. The article continues, I know that what Musk, SpaceX and the courageous 4-person crew just accomplished is deeply significant to Musk's ultimate goal of getting humanity to Mars and beyond. This latest SpaceX launch, dubbed Polaris Dawn, set a number of firsts. It was the first all-private citizen space launch. A big deal, by the way. This was previously the stuff only a single country or multiple countries collaborating could achieve. The first commercial spacewalk, the first all-civilian spacewalk, and again, it marked the farthest any woman has ever flown in space. Beyond that, it was the farthest humanity has flown from Earth in more than 50 years. Elon Musk and his once-in-a-century mind is behind all that. While NASA, this is great. My eyes are always like half a sentence ahead of where I'm reading. While NASA continues to destroy itself from within with its focus on didn't earn it programs, identity politics, and climate change before all, Musk has taken the lead in space. The left can and will hate on him all they want because of his fight against their censorship for free speech and because he dared to endorse the reviled Trump. But decades and even centuries from now, I believe history will record Musk as the driving force who permanently lifted humanity into the promise and protection of space. What a fantastic article. The theme of today's video is the stark contrast between being seen as good versus actually doing good. It takes courage to do what's right, what's good, but unpopular. It takes no courage. In fact, it takes cowardice for the opposite. Instead of actually being focused on doing good and what's right, instead, to act in ways that you believe will give people the perception you're doing good. We've seen this happen to Orange Man Bad and to Elon Musk, public enemy number 1 and number 2. Why? Because they're trying to do good as opposed to be seen to be doing good. And now we have this fuckwit from the union whose goal is not to do good. If he was intent on doing good, he wouldn't be making unreasonable demands, having members strike and put them out of a job. Instead, he'd be saying, oh shit, automation's coming. Let's figure out a way to minimize layoffs, not make unreasonable demands. But instead, he's up on his throne, acting all high and mighty, tricking dumb union members into thinking that he's got their best interests at heart as opposed to his own ego gratification. Remember, this guy's making the better part of $1 million a year in compensation and making outrageous demands, including preventing automation for some of the roles that current union members have. And you know what's going to happen? The ultimate end goal here, dickhead here gets in the media. Members think, oh, he cares about us. He seems to be doing good. But ultimately, it's going to fast track them all to unemployment. I'm going to leave you guys with a very relevant quote from the great Thomas Sowell, whose books, by the way, all of them, you should read, actually. It's highly relevant to what we've seen here today. The difference between perception and reality. Quote, activism is a way for useless people to feel important, even if the consequences of their activism are counterproductive for those they claim to be helping and damaging to the fabric of society as a whole. Can anyone see the connection between that quote and what we've seen in today's video? Bye. Want more content? Early access? Bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 is awesome. I've been taking it daily now for more than 3 years. It's a great way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's packed full of vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients, plus has prebiotics, probiotics, and adaptogens to improve gut health, regularity, and help your body handle stress. I'm always looking for an edge to help me feel and perform my best, which is why I haven't missed a day of AG1 for more than 3 years. And I haven't missed a daily video in more than 3 years. Must be a coincidence, right? Just try it and see how you feel. Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR and get yourself a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 travel packs. But don't take my word for it. This is what viewers of the channel had to say after trying AG1. I feel like I have a lot more energy since I started on AG1. By the way, viewer, that makes 2 of us. On to the next. Just got my AG1 in the mail. Legit feeling the effects after day 3. This viewer's been taking AG1 for 8 months and says, what an investment. Another. 3 months ago, I started AG1 and have been enjoying the evenness of alertness and energy that lasts the day. I just started the wife on it too. Are you convinced yet? I mean, hey, it's worth trying, right? Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR, or I can keep going, plenty more to come. This viewer, after about a month on AG1, definitely a lack of fatigue in the afternoon. Pleasant side effect is that my coffee intake has imploded and is almost down to 0. One more? Yeah, why not? I honestly feel younger and will be continuing to use AG1. This stuff really is crazy good. I didn't think it would be, but this stuff is awesome. It really is what everyone is saying. One more? Don't mind if I do. I've just received my 3rd month supply. I've drank it every day. I have so much energy throughout most of the day. I'm productive, started a new business, started socializing, refurbished a boat. It's no coincidence. Thank you for your persistence, your integrity, and your insights. Now look, these are not my words. These are not my testimonials. This is what you guys and girls are saying. Maybe it's 100% placebo effect. But even if that's the case, I think it's money well spent. Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR and get yourself a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 travel packs. If you're still skeptical, hey, I don't blame you. Everyone on the planet seems to be promoting AG1 now, but guess what? They weren't nearly 3 years ago when I had this to say privately to my Patreon audience before there was a relationship, when I was asked about what I was doing for my health, energy, and so on. Just sharing my genuine, honest thoughts about a product I'd recently discovered that was at the time called Athletic Greens, now AG1. If I could only recommend one supplement to take, Athletic Greens, and I'm not getting paid to say this, Athletic Greens is a fucking game changer. I cannot believe how effective this is. No longer having a lack of energy in the afternoons. It's fucking amazing. There's only one thing to recommend seriously. Try Athletic Greens. You won't go back. So obviously, just like Elon Musk is a liar, a fraud, a con man, a scammer, a fake engineer, and Tesla's going bankrupt, you shouldn't trust that guy from about 3 years ago who, without any financial incentive, was promoting this product to his audience on Patreon when they were asking about health and what he's doing for supplements. Because obviously, there was some other reason he recommended that, obviously. Not sure what it was, but don't trust that guy. And all the testimonials, like my mental game's improved with AG1. I feel better than ever. I'm so impressed I've bought it for both my parents. I feel more focused and have better digestion. Incredible difference. No more afternoon fatigue. It's relieved gut issues. These are all just obviously fake testimonials from fake people. Right? Wrong. Just try it. Unless you hate yourself. If you hate yourself and you don't even want to risk possibly feeling better, this is not for you. But for everyone else, what's the worst that could happen? Try it for a month. See how you feel. It's a no-brainer. Just click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR. You'll get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 and K2 plus 5 travel packs. And you'll take the colossal risk that maybe you might have a similar experience to some of the people whose testimonials we've read in this video.